So, Pokemon sucks for kids right now. Let's talk about it. What is going on, you broke ass Timmies? Welcome back to the channel. This is Strawberry Pokemon. My name is Kira, and today we're going to be deep diving a little bit into why the hobby isn't fun right now for kids at all. Despite all of the grown ass men on here that will argue that it's still fine for kids, I promise you guys, it's not. We are going to get into it because it is something that's upsetting to watch happen. It really is. It's upsetting to see the state of the hobby. Not a fun experience for most children. That's the reality of the situation. Whether you guys want to, accept that or not is on you. But that is the reality. So let's get into it. This is going to be more of a ranty video. If you're not into that, I understand. Sayonara. Before we get into all that though, if you broke ass Timmies were out trying to get phantasmal flames yesterday, I really do hope that you were able to get something. A lot of people that I personally know, like some of my friends and things like that, were able to get some and, a decent amount, which is cool. Congrats to all the broke ass Timmies who were actually able to get product yesterday. I am never at the drops because I have to take my kids to school and live a normal life. So I saw a clip earlier this morning that was upsetting to listen to. It was a couple kids that were at some sort of card event of some sort. They were browsing this dude's table. This dude gave them an AGS slab or something for free, which kind of nice of him. But I just want you guys to listen to what the mom of these three kids says to the vendor.
You want that one? Okay, why don't you keep looking? But yes.
Do you have any slabs yet? Here's your first slab.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna do.
No problem. Some kid came and asked to do a trade up, and so I just gave him a card, but thinking I'll just give it to the next kid or something. Yeah, no problem.
I love it. We have been really dry this year because it's so hard to get cards.
Yeah.
And I'm not really one to go just because I got 3 kids. I can't just be spending all kinds of money. So we try to get it from Walmart or whatever.
So this is the unfortunate reality for most families in the Pokemon hobby right now, most parents with children who are into Pokemon. Most of these people cannot wait in the lines Friday mornings or Thursday nights and stand there for hours and wait until the store actually opens at 9, 10, or 11 o'clock to buy Pokemon cards, okay? Because most parents work somewhat normal jobs and most kids go to school, 5 days a week. So the reality for most families is that this isn't an option. It's not an option for them to stand there and wait to hopefully get the product before it sells out. And this is by no means new information, okay? But it does seem like a lot of the money bros in the space do not understand this sentiment. They do not understand that this is most kids' experience right now. Most kids get out of school, and by the time they're out of school and their parents are able to drive them to the store and check on cards, they're gone. And the reality of the situation is that most kids in the hobby who like Pokemon have hardly seen or opened packs in the last year. It's a sad reality, but a lot of guys on here will argue that that's not true. I don't know if they're actually just this delusional or if they're just trying to make themselves feel better or look better or whatever it is, justify their behavior in some way. I don't know what it is. There are a lot of people on here that will argue that that's not the case because they've seen kids having fun in the hobby. They've seen kids at card shows and opening expensive packs at shows and having fun. Yes, there are families that take their kids to card shows and overspend on cards and packs. Yes, I take my son to card shows. But if you guys actually believe that that is most kids' experience in the hobby right now, you're delusional. There's no other way to spin it. That is not what most kids' experience in the hobby is right now. Most kids' experience in the hobby is they get a pack here and there while they're shopping with their mom or dad at Target or Walmart, or they're getting packs for special occasions, like their birthday, holidays, getting good grades, whatever it is, or they're saving their own money to go to the store and buy a pack. Majority of kids in the hobby who enjoy Pokemon, they don't attend these card shows. They will never attend these card shows as a child. That is the majority of kids in the space for a variety of different reasons. It's not because they have the worst parents in the world. Some of them probably do. But life is busy. Some people just don't have time to do shit like that with their kids. It's just a sad truth. A lot of people don't have time to drive to a card show and spend hours there on the weekend. A lot of people don't have time to do that. On top of that, these card shows aren't cheap, okay? First of all, you have to pay for the gas to get there. Gas isn't cheap these days. There's entrance fees usually. If you're taking yourself and your kid, that's 2 entrance fees alone. If you have more kids, that's another entrance fee. it adds up over the course of the day. And then once you get inside, everything's very expensive. All the cards are expensive. If you want to open a pack, you're gonna pay double or triple MSRP. Like, it's not a cheap thing to go to, okay? It's not a super affordable thing for families to go to. So for the majority of kids who don't go to these Pokemon events, this year has sucked for them. For young Pokemon fans that don't get to have those experiences, okay, which is most of them, this has been an extremely disappointing and disheartening year for them. That's just what it is, guys. I've seen ridiculous comments of fucking like, y'all sound like boomers, you know that? Like, back in my day, I only got a pack once every, like, 5 years. And I was fine. I still loved Pokemon. Back in my day, I only got to smell a Pokemon card once, and I still love Pokemon. I only got to look at Pokemon through a store window, and I didn't complain. I didn't care. Y'all literally sound like grandpas, like boomers. Like, shut up. These types of comments are so majorly out of touch with reality and immediately tells me you know nothing about kids of today, and you definitely don't have your own children. And if you do, I feel bad for them because they have to hear the old grandpa boomer speeches all the time about back in my day, I want you to suffer the way I did. And if you don't have kids of your own and you have no experience with kids, hey, I get it. You wouldn't notice a lot of the things I'm about to talk about. But you also can't like come on the internet and be like, well, kids are fine. You don't know anything. You have no experience with them. How do you know that they're fine? To the boomer point, okay, about how we never got cards as kids. We almost never got packs as kids, right? Majority of kids still don't, okay? Majority of kids still get packs on occasional basis for things like birthdays, holidays, some sort of special event in their life. For example, our son gets packs when he gets outstandings. Every outstanding he gets on his report card, which is twice a year, guys. Twice a year. The amount of outstandings he gets in each subject, he gets a Pokemon card pack. That's something we do. Also in his soccer games, every goal he scored, he would get a Pokemon pack. We would drive him to Target afterwards and he could buy a pack. And that type of stuff is extremely motivating for him. It was seriously a big treat. He would try his ass off in soccer games to get a Pokemon card pack. That was the reason he was trying to score goals. Like, because he wanted Pokemon cards. He would literally say it on the field to his friends. Anytime he would score a goal, which up until this year was far and few between, he would immediately be like, yes, I get a Pokemon pack. Like, it was like the best thing for him. It was a treat. Sadly, this was actually his best season ever, and there's never cards in the store, so we couldn't do that anymore. Couldn't just drive over to Target after a soccer game and get a pack like we have been for years. And that was pretty sad. It's disheartening, you know what I mean, for kids. Like, he didn't cry about it, he didn't complain about it, he didn't whine about it, but it is disappointing. Like, of course it is. We've done that for years. It's like a tradition. And we can't do it anymore because there's never cards in the store. So, I mean, that was a personal life example, obviously, but most kids are still getting Pokemon cards on an occasional basis. They're not just getting bought packs like every day, every week. Like, that's not most kids' experience either. I just want to add to the point, okay, of, well, I never even touched a Pokemon card when I still love it. Like, let me add to this point, okay, as somebody who has a lot of experience with kids, guys, of today. I was a teacher and childcare provider for 8 years, over 8 years actually, and I have 2 kids. And from my experience and to this point, this boomer point, life when we were kids was wildly different than it is today. I promise you this, guys. Pokemon today is not the same to these kids as it was to us. Pokemon isn't part of an everyday aspect of life to these kids, because I do hear this argument quite a bit too, that it's like, oh, well, Pokemon's, it's not just about the cards. There's lots of other stuff for kids to enjoy in Pokemon. Yeah, the options are there, right? Like the TV show and the video games, but it's not the same. When we were kids, if we didn't have packs, which oftentimes we didn't, it's true, we only got them for, special occasions. That's most of our experience. So if we didn't have packs to open, which was often, we would watch the TV show. We would play the video games. As kids, our generation watched cartoons on TV. We would watch Pokemon on the WB channel. We would check the TV guides to see what time it was coming on, because if you missed it, you missed it. So your whole day revolved around what time Pokemon was coming on. Kids today don't do this. They don't have to. They have a million different choices and forms of entertainment available to them at all times with things like Netflix and YouTube. So much so many options, that the Pokemon show doesn't hit the same way it does for them as it did for us back in the day. Not even close. And just a reminder, I'm speaking generally here, guys. I understand that everyone has different experiences. If your niece and nephew love the new Pokemon show and they're obsessed with it and it's all they watch, cool. But that's not most kids, okay? I'm speaking generally here. Our generation also had the video games when we were young. We had a Game Boy or a DS and a handful of games that we could play. Because we only had a couple choices, we'd just play those games over and over and over again for years and never tire of them because that was pretty much all we had. Young kids today are not even into traditional video games the way that we were when we were kids. Most of them have iPads and Roblox and short attention spans that make traditional video games feel more like a chore or a project than something else more mindless and brain rotty. Again, guys, they have endless choices, so nothing that they play or do hits quite the same way that things did for us when we were young and we only had a very restricted amount of choices. We loved the things that we had, the games that we had, the shows that we watched because we were pretty limited on the options. Also, let's be real, guys. Nintendo used to genuinely cater to children. Today, the newest Pokemon game is like $90 and all the megas are locked behind paywalls. It doesn't feel super child-friendly. It doesn't feel like they're catering to kids these days. So, guys, the TV show and video games aren't going to make up for, in a lot of cases, the lack of access to Pokemon cards because for today's kids, for a lot of them, the trading cards are pretty much the only thing left that really appeals to them in the Pokemon hobby. One of the only things that still really excites them. So my point with all of that, guys, was just to debunk the few arguments I hear very frequently from a lot of these money bros, which are A, kids have other ways to enjoy Pokemon. Yes, the options are there, but it's not what most kids in the hobby gravitate towards, especially when they have so many other options available to them. B, I see kids having fun at card shows. That's great, but that's not most kids' experience in the hobby. Most kids have barely opened packs for the last year. And C, this isn't going to hurt the hobby long term. It absolutely will. Thousands of kids have already found another hobby. They've already completely given up on Pokemon and moved on. It's very easy to do that nowadays. If you're not a parent, I understand why you might not see that and see what's happening to kids today. Now, in our house, we make an effort to limit screen time as much as possible, to be honest. They literally only have screens on the weekends. The youngest isn't even allowed to watch YouTube because all he will choose to watch is weird brain rot videos. And all of that is like if they behaved during the week. If they didn't behave during the week, they're not getting their screen time on the weekend. But I know everyone's situation is different. I know every household is different. Every family is different. But coming from a teaching standpoint, when I was a teacher, most households in my experience don't limit their screen time. And with this new like brain rot culture amongst the youngest generation of kids, I often find myself wondering what they'll even be nostalgic for, if they'll even have that feeling. And guys, I guarantee you I'm not the only teacher that's going to tell you that, kids don't really attach themselves to things like they used to. But for a lot of the young Pokemon fans, the cards are something that genuinely still excites them. But I really do think it's just so important for the future of this hobby that we as the adults who still love it here are giving kids a fair shot at their turn to love the hobby and their turn to have these magical experiences that we did when we were young. Because at the end of the day, they are the future of the hobby. Once our generation is gone, I would hate to see Pokemon take a nosedive. That's just heartbreaking to think about. I know that the assholes who are going in and clearing the shelves, they don't give a fuck, about the hobby, the future of the hobby. They're here to make a quick buck and grift off of the hype as long as humanly possible because they want money, which is why I'm so adamant about not buying from these people, because the truth is they're not going to stop until we stop buying from them. Let it tank. Let it tank. They can't afford for it to tank. It does look like the hobby's starting to cool off a little bit. It still sucks. It sucks to see kids, disappointed. It sucks to see kids leaving the hobby, finding something else they like better that they have better access to. Like, it just sucks. It sucks for parents who can't get their kids who are huge Pokemon fans Pokemon cards. Christmas is coming up. I'm sure a ton of kids have been asking for Pokemon cards, and that just sucks. Cassian, my son, huge Lucario fan. That's his favorite Pokemon. This kid waited in line for 4 hours at the last Collecticon in New Jersey to get Sean Schemmel to sign his Lucario Funko Pop, surrounded by Dragon Ball Z fans. He waited in line for 4 hours without a single complaint because he really wanted to meet the voice of Lucario. That's the type of dedication and love this child has for Lucario. He has a little Lucario shrine in his room. And what a time to be a Lucario fan, man. I mean, there's so much Lucario shit out there right now, and it sucks. I can't get any of it for him. I can't find it anywhere. Can't wait in line. you know, all night or in the morning even because I have to take him to school. Yeah, it just sucks. It sucks. It's a shitty feeling. But no, I'm not going to go out and overpay for it either. I'm not doing it. I'm not supporting the scumbags who are the reason we're in this position in the first place. And what was extra sad was, you know, I was having a conversation with him about Legos, like the new Pokemon Lego collaboration that's going to be coming out. I think early 2026 it's coming out. And, you know, he's super into Legos right now. And I was asking him if he was excited about the Pokemon Legos. And he actually said to me, yeah, but they'll probably get scalped. I probably won't be able to build them anyway. I was like, damn. Like, even if that's not the case, like, I can't imagine that the Pokemon Legos are gonna get scalped or anything. But the fact that, like, that was his thought process because that's what's been happening in the hobby for the last year, I mean, that's just sad. He's 8 years old. Anyway, guys, sorry for my rant. Yeah, some of it was from a personal standpoint, but I'm also speaking pretty generally because I'm not alone in this. I know that I'm not the only parent out there that is in this situation. All you Pokemon parents out there who have kids who love Pokemon, just know I empathize with you. I feel your pain. It sucks. But I'm trying to keep the magic alive for him as much as possible. It is getting tough. It is getting tough. That boy loves Pokemon so much, though. I'm not sure there's anything that could break his spirits. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Sorry that this video is just a long rant. I'm just tired of seeing the arguments, the very out of touch arguments from Money Bros about why kids are fine. No, they're not. It sucks. And y'all can sit there and like laugh about it or you know, not admit it to yourselves if you want. You stay delusional if you want to. But this is the truth. This is the situation for most kids. I've got some scalper crash outs coming out for you guys tomorrow, so be on the lookout for that video. I also have a Phoenix free sale crash out coming up soon here on the channel. Be on the lookout for those videos, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye. What are you building?
A Lucario set.
A Lucario set? Look at that.
Why
What are the odds?
and why are his legs so thick?